Weather alert. You are watching 13 on your side.
Good morning, West Michigan, and happy Christmas Eve. Welcome back to 13 on your side mornings. I'm Veronica Ortega. We start with team coverage of the blizzard-like storm currently making its way through West Michigan. We have crews in Grand Rapids and on the lakeshore. We'll check in with them in just a few minutes, but first, let's send things right over to meteorologist Blake Hansen. Blake, is the worst of it over?
You know, Veronica, it really comes down to where you're located here in West Michigan. If you're watching from Ionia up towards Howard City, for example, yeah, the worst of this is over. But if you're watching from Holland, you're down in Saugatuck, for example, you still have several hours of these near blizzard conditions this morning, even into this afternoon. Let's talk about what's ongoing right now. This is the look in Muskegon. At least can see somewhat compared to yesterday, but visibility still less than a mile. 16 degrees is the current number. When you factor in that 40-mile-per-hour wind gust, it feels more like 2 below zero. And this is the look at Snug Harbor in Grand Haven. You can see the pancake ice actually on the channel right there, that extreme Arctic air working through the Great Lakes region. But it's all about the lake effect snow, the combination of that and the wind that continues to wreak havoc across much of the area, especially from southern Muskegon County right into Ottawa County. So we're talking Grand Haven, Allendale, Hudsonville, Jenison, for example. Those lake effect snow bands have been continuous over the last 24 hours, and some of these lake effect snow bands have been working into Kent County since late last evening. Grand Rapids, for example, Kentwood down to Caledonia. That's where we've seen some of those more robust lake effect snow showers, and then even into Allegan County itself. That's been another sweet spot for this lake effect snow really since yesterday morning. The Ottawa County MDOT camera is just not in great shape. Actually, the Ottawa County Sheriff's Department did not recommend any travel across Ottawa County. That was issued last evening. If you do have to travel, make sure you have an emergency kit with you. If you're traveling in portions of Allegan and Ottawa County, conditions are still rather poor. That's even bringing that lightly this early Saturday morning. Temperatures, they're still cold, a little warmer than yesterday. We were in the single digits yesterday afternoon. We're now in the teens, but when you factor in the wind, it's still frigid outside. Wind chill values well below zero, and there's not much improvement today from the temperature department. We're only going to climb into the middle teens today, and we still hold on to that lake effect snow, especially along and westward of US 131. We'll break down the rest of your Christmas weekend when finally these blizzard conditions can come to an end, and there's also a big warming trend in sight. I'll talk about 40s, even 50s in this 10-day outlook.
All right, thanks, Blake. We continue our team coverage in Holland. The snowfall and high-intensity winds are still not letting up there. 13 on your sides. Trevier Gonzalez has been in Holland since yesterday. Trevier, has anything changed for you over there?
Hey, good morning, Veronica. I think Blake put it incredibly well. Even though we are warmer, it is just hard to tell because of those wind gusts that just come through. Right now, once again, it's coming from the backside here, so it's not as bad on me. But I will say it is really makes it difficult to do much of anything. I will say, while we've been here, we've seen most of the residents here within Holland kind of riding out the storm, staying within their homes unless they're snow plowing or ending up using their own shovels to clear out their driveways. But I will say that wind chill just makes it unbearable to do much of anything unless you really absolutely have to. Now, on the topic of drivers, we have seen them on the road, more so in the dayside time of things, but not having materials like salt and sand does make this, it's just a factor of not of having this high intensity winds.
Have to stay home, you know, don't go out if you don't have to. Those kinds of things, just to make it easier for our crews to be out there when conditions are going to be tricky.
And even though things are expected to be warmer and these roads themselves are being plowed, accidents are still happening and these roads are still slippery. We want to go ahead and show you that footage of that Meyer truck that a viewer sent us from their dash cam, and it's just sliding off, and that just kind of really just goes to show that these roads and these temperatures do not discriminate. Doesn't matter if you have a bigger or smaller car. I've seen trucks myself struggling just because of how intense and how high some of this snowfall can really be. So if you do find yourself on the road, the name of the game is to make sure you keep yourself a good distance from other vehicles, as well as be wary and be extra cautious, because just visibility is another struggling issue. For now, live in Holland, Trevier Gonzalez, 13 on your side.
All right, thank you, Trevier. As this storm is continuing to blow through West Michigan this morning, it's impacting just about everyone from the lakeshore to Kent County. 13 on your side, Josh Albertus joins us live from Walker. Josh, what are conditions like where you are?
Good morning, Veronica. That's right. We are at a shopping center on Alpine Avenue, and we are still seeing that this storm is in full force here in the Grand Rapids area as well. As you look around me, you can see these accumulating snow levels, these snow banks, as well as these very high winds. They're very much still in full force blowing around today, and they are very much blowing around the progress that these private plows, that these county commission trucks have been trying to make since they've been out yesterday plowing this snow. And now we've seen a lot of those plows out throughout the morning since we've been here, but just because of the high winds and these bitter cold temperatures causing refreezing on the roads, it's been very hard to keep those roads clear after they've been plowed. So Jerry Byrne at the Kent County Road Commission says drivers need to be very careful in these conditions.
Well, we always tell folks these wing extensions, and especially this light powder of snow, will kick a lot of powder up. So people are thinking they're just driving through a cloud of snow. Well, in the back of that or in front of that cloud of snow is one of our trucks. So that's why we tell people don't pass our trucks, back off, have a little patience, and don't ever pass on the right, because that's where that wing extension is going to be.
Now, although he is giving advice to drivers who are out on the road, he and other officials are still stressing to people, do not go out on the roads today unless absolutely necessary. Otherwise, stay at home, stay in place, keep down until this storm blows over later this weekend. Reporting live from Walker, Josh Albertus, 13 on your side.
All right, thank you, Josh. We also want to let you know our crews are not spending the entire show out in the storm. They have a warm car nearby and are warming up between live shots. In Muskegon County, road crews spent much of yesterday clearing major roads, trying to keep up with the blowing snow. Road Commission officials said last night that they've seen anywhere from 4 to 16 inches of snow on the roads. The Road Commission plans to continue to plow throughout the remainder of the storm to help local communities hit hard by the hazardous conditions. Governor Gretchen Whitmer has activated the State Emergency Operations Center. This means the state is coordinating with local communities to provide quicker responses to emergencies. If anyone needs help, calling the United Way at 211 is the best option, but if it's an emergency, call 911. And with strong winds reaching as high as 60 miles per hour, Consumers Energy is prepared for potential power outages. While there are not many outages around West Michigan right now, we wanted to talk with the company about its plans so far. Joining us right now to talk about storm preps is Brian Wheeler with Consumers Energy. Brian, good morning.
Good morning.
How are things looking right now?
Yeah, statewide, we have about 1,100 customers without power right now. Since the bad weather started, we've seen about 20,000 folks be affected in total. Certainly, the storm delivered the goods, but not quite the wind, not quite the power outages that we might have expected. That said, we know it's still going to be a cold and a windy day. We do have hundreds of people who are working to restore power right now.
Okay, that's good to hear. Not a lot of outages in West Michigan specifically. What if the plan should change? What is the plan, rather, should things change?
Yeah, even though it is Christmas Eve, we are fully staffed for today. We do have crews from Consumers Energy, contractors from around the state who are ready and at work as we speak. Our plan is to get power back on as fast as possible. We know there's a chance for more power outages. So we're preparing, and we certainly encourage people to be prepared. Staying home, staying safe is the priority today.
Absolutely. The frigid temperatures mean power outages could have a significant impact if it does happen. What are some ways people can stay warm in their homes if they don't have power?
Indeed, and certainly you can be home safely even without energy, but making sure that you've got, for one, your supplies, your flashlights, everything ready to go. You know what your plan is going to be. And then from there, just try to get yourself into a good warm place, blankets, sweaters, keeping those drafts outside your house, as you should be doing all the time in winter anyway. Just try to keep your house contained, keep the heat inside, keep the cold out, and know that we'll be working to restore power as fast as we can, especially given the circumstances.
Yeah, and speaking of those circumstances, what are some of the challenges your crews are facing in the field?
Yeah, I mean the snow blowing, the heavy snow, those are sorts of concerns for anybody today. So our crews are able to get to work as long as the wind gusts stay low enough. They can do their work in these conditions. They train, they prepare for this weather. But certainly getting place to place can be slower as we try to navigate those roads. So if you see a Consumers Energy crew working, certainly slow down, take your time going around. Just being so careful today is going to be the priority. We want everyone to get through this day safely.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Thank you so much, Brian, for joining us this morning. Blake, there is an end in sight.
Yeah, there is an end in sight, at least as we head towards the end of this weekend, Veronica. We still have a few more hours, a good chunk of today with these blizzard conditions. We'll talk more about what you can expect in your backyard after this commercial break.